Exactly.
But we're still kind of on the topic of unusual stuff, and you were talking about making stew. I could turn that stew into a jam. I could
Chili
take
jam?
I can make a stew jam. I can make a brisket jam. You can make meat jams. You can do
Ba-
anything with a
Bacon jam?
jam. Say what?
I said bacon jam.
Welcome to the Flavor Savors, a podcast where two donuts talk about a bunch of schnitzel. Here are your hosts, Mike and Dick.
What's up, Taterheads? Welcome to the January 7th, 2022 edition of the Flavor Savors. I'm Dick.
And I'm Mike on this very first episode of Flavor Savors. We're going to be talking about jams, jellies, and preserves. It's kind of fitting for January, huh?
Well, for two guys that jam their fat butts into their shirts, it very much is.
Yeah. I just got to preserve the look. You know what I'm saying? Don't be jelly. Don't be jelly, man.
Preserve
So,
that
yeah, we're
that
just,
round
yeah,
shape.
preserve the round. Yeah, I told my wife one time I was going to have to take my shirt back because I'm sick of these lumps that are in the front of all my shirts. She said, "You're just fat." Oh, okay. So, yeah, it's not too bad for a couple of fat guys that talk food all the time.
I
You know
mean,
what I mean? We always talking food.
when we first met, that's kind of just
I think
talking
we
about
started
food
off talking
influences.
about
Yeah, yeah.
food. Yeah, we met on Mixer. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Mixer. It used to be a streaming platform run by Microsoft, and we met on there watching other people's streams, and we just kind of went from there. We instantly became friends, and just started hanging out, playing games. But every time we get together, it doesn't matter if he's streaming or if I'm streaming or if we're just in somebody else's stream, the conversation always goes to food. Always.
Even if we're just playing games or something, just hanging out.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
you
we
eat?
didn't even have to.
Oh, yeah,
We
this is what I eat.
Yeah, I gotta go stir this broth. Let me go make sure that the steaks are marinated. I mean, we always talk about something. Always.
Yeah, and after years of hanging out and talking about food, we were both looking for an excuse to do this. So, what better
Yeah.
excuse than food?
I think both of us were talking about podcasts like long before we ever talked together about podcasts. Because I always wanted to do a podcast about something, and then Dick came to me and it's like, "Hey man, I got this idea for a podcast. I'm down." He said, "You don't even know what it's about. Doesn't matter. It's about food. I'm double down. Let's go."
Yeah, I've tried to start up a couple different, not really podcasts, but in the spirit of podcast, and it just
Right.
doesn't work out.
Yeah, you got to have people that are 100% committed to doing it and are trying their best to at least help push that idea forward. If you got people that are just kind of sitting on their laurels and waiting for you to do everything, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
um, we're going to. You guys will find out that we're going to be doing a lot of punny stuff. And when I say punny, I mean we're in January. So every
We're
month is
dumb.
going to be a food. And we're dumb. We're dads. Come on.
We're
Uh,
so dumb.
every month is going to be filled with different types of food and different topics, and we'll discuss the base of the foods that we're talking about, and then we'll go over some other things. The whole month is dedicated to that specific type of food, to the point that we're going to show off our cooking skills.
Not only that, but some months we're going to show off your cooking skills. We're going to
Right.
take your recipes and we'll make them and we'll make videos of us making your recipes and then we'll pick out the ones that we like. Uh, we're fat guys, but there's probably not going to be any that we dislike.
Unless
But
it's just some random off the wall
yeah,
something,
yeah, it's like put mustard in a jelly. It's like I don't like that one except for on
Yeah.
brisket sandwiches.
Yeah, we might kind of circumvent that one.
I don't know. Mustard jelly on that
I mean,
brisket,
I'd try it.
on a
Look, I've
brisket
never,
waffle.
there's never a brisket sandwich made with a waffle with some mustard jam. I could get down with that maybe.
Uh,
I've never been one to really turn down any kind of food. I will try anything once, regardless as to how it sounds, as long as it doesn't look disgusting. I think the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten that looked disgusting was raw oysters, and I can't get down with raw oysters.
well, see,
I
I
just
can't.
can't.
I can't do fish at all. Seafood, fish. I've tried it, and it as soon as it hits my mouth and touches my tongue, and the flavor kicks in, it's Vomitville. It is
See, man,
not good.
I love fish. I did, freshwater fish, saltwater fish. I don't care.
I
Tuna. I mean,
just
I used to be like, um, not willing to try sushi. I was like, hey, where I come from, they call that raw fish bait. But now it's like I can't get enough sushi. But that's a topic for a different month.
Yeah. Well, another topic for a different month. I just smoked a salmon for my wife, 4 salmon patties. And
Ooh, nice.
yeah, just, cedar plank, lemon, salt, pepper, that's it. And then
Look,
you
something you guys will find out about this guy eventually if you don't already know him, is he's always got something going on in the smoker. Every
just
month he's talking about smoking something new.
meat in general, man. I love meat. But
Oh yeah.
when I opened the salmon, that didn't smell bad, but that smell turned my stomach. And then when I'm patting out the salmon, I have to use gloves because my hands can't smell like fish. You
Right,
know,
right.
that stuff messes with me so
Yeah,
bad.
once you get that smell in your general area, it's kind of over.
Yeah, especially for someone who vomits when that smell hits.
I don't have that issue, thank goodness, because man, I love fish. I love steak. I love food in general, man.
And
I don't aside from oysters, I don't think there's anything that I just won't eat. I I can't think of anything.
I'll try anything, but
I'm
if you tell me you have fish in it, I'm probably gonna puke.
I'm uh I'm sure that over the course of the next 12 months we'll find out what I really don't like.
Yeah,
But right now the only thing I can think of is raw oysters. Luckily this month it's all about jams, and I love jams.
yeah, I can't wait to share the recipes that we're gonna be working with this month. We got some weird stuff coming, guys. It's some weird stuff.
We also have some very long-term plans when it comes to what we're doing, especially when it starts with this month. We've got some long-term plans that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. When it all comes together and is all said and done, you guys be like, "Wow, man, they've really put a lot of thought into this podcast." And we have. We've talked about it for what, 3, 4 months now.
Yeah, and we're about a year ahead in planning.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we're about 2 years ahead in planning.
yeah, I mean, if we wanted to stretch what we got, then we got
I
about
mean,
2 years. But
we got 2 years, to the month, not like 2 years with the full content, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we've got up to January of January of 2024 planned
Yeah,
out
guys, go
in
to
our
your
in our heads
calendars.
anyway. In our
Scratch
heads.
out whatever the regular people call the months and
And log in for January. It is Jamuary.
savor it up. Put the
Savor it up.
January in.
We'll be talking about jams and jellies all this month, but that doesn't mean that every January will be specifically about jams and jellies and stuff like that. We'll probably hit on it a little bit just because of the month, but it's not going to be entire episodes or the full month.
Yeah, because there's no pizza month. We don't have a pizza month, but we definitely gonna talk about pizza two,
Oh,
three, four
yeah.
times. There's no
Oh yeah, at
breakfast month,
least.
but we can have long discussions
No,
about breakfast.
we got a breakfast month, don't we?
I don't think we have a whole month for breakfast.
No, is it just one? I could have sworn. No,
There's
maybe that's our
maple, but
favorites.
that's not.
I mean, look, we can figure something out because you know me, I do love me some breakfast foods.
So we have topics that aren't going to be based around the month name that we made just for fun because it's punny and stupid. We're just trying to have fun with it. So,
Look, we're
one
just a couple of
January
wiener
might
schnitzels.
be, yeah. We'll have a list of what all that means later.
We're also thinking about if you guys are interested in a little more about what we're doing and even some of the recipes and stuff, we'll probably have a website later on down the road. Right now, we're just trying to focus on getting the podcast up and going, making sure that it's distributed to all platforms so that you guys can hear it wherever you listen to your podcast. And we'll kind of go from there. But I definitely think that a website is in the works.
Yeah, and elaborate, not only hear it, but view it, because on your YouTubes and places like that, we'll have it. I might even put up a Twitch account and run
Oh, that'd
reruns
be
on the
great.
show.
That's not a bad idea,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, because we can upload it there, and then it can go live at the same time that it goes live on YouTube. So we might do that.
Right.
So not
Okay.
only listening to it, you can watch it, you can have fun with us any way you want.
That's right. You can watch us, you can listen to us, you can read about us, the whole 9 yards. Make sure you're following our socials too. We'll have links to all of that stuff in the show description, and below the YouTube video and then our Twitch. Just look for it. You'll find it. I promise you.
Trust me, after we get this recorded, I'm going to talk about it everywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll both be talking about it on all of our social media, personal stuff and gamer stuff, because that's where most of the people that are listening right now, at least to start with, are going to know us from is from our gaming personas.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be fun though. I'm really looking forward to the long term of this.
Oh man, I've been looking forward to this for so many months now. I'm just been chomping at the bit, man, just for this moment.
This whole week he's been sending me messages going, "You got 6 days, man. You got 4 days, man.
'Tis 3 days, me lord.
It's 3 days until the recording commences, my lord."
'Tis the eve.
Yeah, then he messaged me this morning at like 8 in the morning. Is like, you ready for today? Of course, I wasn't quite ready at that moment. I was trying to get Maggie together and do my house chores and all of that stuff. And then I messaged him like, yeah.
Man, I've been chomping at the bit because, like I said, not only is this, I know that it has longevity and it's a long-term thing that we've got blocked out for a long period of time, but it's something I've been trying to do for a long time. And with someone I know that I could, trust will be here on the days that we need to be here and record and, be on target. It's going to be so fun. Oh, man, I can't wait for this.
Well, we talk about food anyway, so why not put it on a podcast so everybody else can hear? And we've talked about actually doing a Twitch channel and doing this live, but there's just something about trying to do this live, because in order to be a good streamer, you got to pay attention to chat, or you're ignoring chat for the sake of the podcast. And that's why the idea of replaying this on Twitch as a rerun with no chat, we can be in there live chatting with people while the show's going on. But
Yeah, yeah.
no need to try to do this live because it'll end up getting away from us.
100%. Also, the ability to dive in, like right now we're talking about us a little bit, but the ability to dive in on just topics and hit them and
All
then
right.
get our edits in and move on and cut out all the noise is going to be really nice for this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said, we don't only have content lined out, but we also have structure and format laid up. This is going to
Right.
be
Yeah.
fun. This is going to be so fun. I've already been in the kitchen making videos, making jams.
I'll be doing
Oh,
that probably later this week or next week. I've got a jam specifically in mind, but we've also made jams here before for our Southern Dreams homestead. My fiance and I have a YouTube channel already and a blog and everything, which again links will be in the description. But we've made jams and jellies already, and there are so many possibilities. As long as you've got a fruit juice and some sugar, you can make jelly. It's real simple.
you just have to stand there and make sure that it doesn't burn. And you've done
Just
it.
stir it. Yeah.
GG.
Hey, geez.
It's finished.
Well, here's the thing though. You've got two different kinds of jellies and jams and stuff like that. And it's basically the ones that require pectin, which is a thickener, which is what allows jams and jellies to set up. Uh, and then the ones that have natural pectin, which apples have a lot of natural pectin, strawberries do. So
I
some
think
of those
almost all
fruits,
fruits have natural pectin. It's just the amount that they have.
right? They do. It's just a specific amount. You
Yeah.
gotta have a specific amount of pectin, otherwise you have to add pectin to make it set. Um, and it's all about, a lot of that has to do with how long you cook it and how much you not render. That's meat. But just the amount of time you put into processing it and cooking it will give you a good setup. Because we did apple jelly one time, and it basically turned into apple syrup. Then we ended up reprocessing it and just boiling it down a little more, and then processing it in the canner again, and it came out fine. So you know, if you try something like that, and really, we're hoping that you will take some inspiration from what we're saying on our podcast and what we're talking about as far as food and recipes, and that you'll take that inspiration and go into the kitchen and do it yourself. So uh, don't give up, especially if you're trying a jelly. Just continue to cook it until it gets to the thick, and it's not going to be the thickness that you want it to be in the pot, but when you take it out and it starts cooling, that's when that thickness will set up.
Yeah, you got to be careful too, because sometimes it'll get over thick. You can still eat it, but
It's
that
more
means
like
you've.
eating a gummy bear, though.
Yeah. And I tell my son and everyone that ask me about cooking the same thing. You take a recipe, it doesn't matter whose recipe it is, and you make it. That's good. Then you take that recipe and go, what if I don't like this thing? What if I like this thing? You'd look at all the kinds of that recipe, pick out the base ingredients and go, okay, every recipe has this base ingredient, so that must be the base of the recipe. Let me see if that makes the thing.
Right.
Hey, that didn't make the thing. Throw that away. You know, if you mess up, that's the greatest thing about cooking. I mean, unless it's a money issue, you mess up, you throw it away. You go to make
Yeah.
your jam and you burn it, throw it away. Don't eat that. That's nasty.
And as long as you're not baking, like you're not baking a cake or something
Oh.
like that, that's a very specific science. But you know how I learned to make biscuits? Back a few years ago, I was really big in the survival scene. I had a blog and everything. I was wanting to make some bannock, which is a survival bread, which is literally just self-rising flour and water, and you form it into a dough and you bake it, and it's a very basic bread. Um, and then I thought, oh, I wonder what would happen if I added butter in here. Oh, and then instead of water, what if I put buttermilk in here? And that's how I learned to make biscuits, because that's all biscuits are, is flour and buttermilk and butter, or some kind of fat shortening or something. And
Yep.
I learned to make that. I learned to make biscuits that way. So just make the recipe and then make it your own.
Yeah, because the worst case scenario, you make something that's disgusting and you throw that away.
Yeah,
Or you burn your house down, I guess would be the worst case
that's
scenario.
probably the worst. Yeah, you burn down the house and kill everybody inside. That's probably going to be the worst case scenario. Let's not go there.
So keep an eye on your stove. But other than that, learning temperatures, learning to heat things before when you're supposed to, when you're not supposed to,
Yep.
it's cooking's so easy, anyone can do it. It's like
Baking.
drawing, you just have to practice.
Yeah, I was gonna say baking is a science. Cooking
Yeah,
is an art,
cooking.
and you can make that cooking anything you want it.
Unfortunately, for the month of Caketober, there will probably be a lot of baking, and I hate baking, so we're probably going to be doing a lot of baking.
I don't mind baking. It's very tedious. Baking is
Yeah,
very tedious to
it's
me. It
just a
doesn't allow
pain
me
in your
to,
butt.
yeah, it doesn't allow me to like really expound on flavors. You pretty much are stuck to what the recipe says. Unless you can, there are
Unless you know
specific
the
things that you
science.
can substitute. Right, there's specific things you can substitute out. But when it comes to how much flour and how much baking soda and how much buttermilk and stuff like that with specific recipes, you have to have that in there in those quantities so that they react, the chemical reaction does what it's supposed to make it rise. And that's just where I go, okay, whatever
Yeah,
the recipe says, I guess that's what we're making. Because
yeah.
I make a German chocolate cake every year at the holidays, and I have to follow that recipe strictly.
If you're making cake and you don't put the right ingredients in there, actually you just made cookies.
Yeah,
You know,
basically.
it's horrible. I hate it. I don't get to play at all. It's not my sandbox.
Or you've made a cake pop, a giant cake pop.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Did I tell
or
you about
the outside burn
the
and the inside's just liquid.
raw? Yeah, you made a molten brick. Is what you made.
Made molten
Did I tell you
diarrhea
about?
cake.
Yeah, I tell you about Thanksgiving when I made the German chocolate cake, and there was some cake that I trimmed off and some icing left, and I just kind of balled it all up together. And Max said, "What's that?" I said, "It's just because I put some in a bowl for him." What's that? I said, "It's the remnants of the German chocolate cake that didn't get used." And he's like, "Can I eat it?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can eat it." He's like, "Man, we should like roll this in chocolate and freeze it and make cake pops." I'm like, "That's not a bad idea." So maybe a Cake-tober we might have some German chocolate cake pops.
Yeah, I mean, God knows how many different cakes we're gonna have. I'm a fat boy.
Oh.
Man, it's
Yeah.
like talking about these jams, man. Like, I could tell you so many jams that I would eat, and I don't even like fruit, hate fruit, but I will eat some jams. That's sugar.
It depends on what you're pairing it with too. Like, I mean, if you're pairing it with a cheese, then you want a sweeter jam for a sharper cheese. You know what
Oh,
I
you're
mean?
getting into science, y'all.
I'm getting into some science. You got to have something to cut that bite of the cheese, so you want something sweet. Oh, something a little sweeter. Or you could go as simple as like we make peach pepper jelly and put it on cream cheese with some cracker. Oh man, put that on a cracker, dude.
If that like that's the great thing about cooking and not baking or other
Yeah.
forms of things is there's the basic stuff. There's strawberry jam, there's blackberry jam, there's blueberry jam, there's jellies and preservatives, which are all just the same thing, but you keep different parts in and out. There's all these things that you could do that are just so basic that anyone can
Yeah.
do if you will just take the time and read what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So that's something that I don't know if a lot of people really understand what the difference in jelly, jam, and preserves are. Uh, and I honestly I didn't know for a long time. I just called everything jelly because I'm a Southerner. We call everything jelly. But my grandmother and grandfather used to go down to South Georgia, and every time they went, they went down once a year, right between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And every time they came back, they'd always bring back some sausage and pear preserves, and that was the best pear preserves. Like, that was my favorite back in the day. I still love it. We've made some, but it's not the same. You know what I mean?
Growing up poor, if we got jelly, it was basic, cheap, non-brand grape jelly. That was,
Yeah.
and then there was strawberry preserves for my mother, you know, because she
Mama
got
got
the
some good
good, yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate grape flavored things because they don't taste like grapes, because I like grapes. So grape flavored things that don't taste like grapes would just make me angry and I don't want them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make something that actually tastes like what a grape actually tastes like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. None of the things that they make really taste like grapes, so I don't want them.
No.
I like, ugh. But anyway, so I hated it, and I would get into her preserves because strawberry is way better than grape in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
also, that's when I learned that preserves have chunk of fruit in it, and that was even better. But you had to be sneaky around my mom. She almost could label her jars in her mind and know where her strawberries are.
Maybe she had a little marker on the back of it. This is the level when I've last ate jelly.
She takes the label off and she marks the whole back all the way down and puts the label back on.
You see, yeah. She's
It was
like,
on Mark 13 last week.
"Who may need my preserves?"
Uh,
Yeah, we've talked about this before. That the jelly is basically just fruit juice that's been congealed. Uh, Jams have like mashed up fruit, so there's more texture to a jam, and the preserves have like chunks of the fruit in it. So when I was talking earlier about pear preserves, there's actually little slices of pear in it. When he was talking about strawberry preserves, there's actually little chunks of strawberry in the
Yeah,
preserves.
you
It's
might
not
get like
mash. It's
half a
just kind of
strawberry.
yeah,
And
yeah. You might get a little chunk of strawberry.
that's glorious day in peanut butter jelly land.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You bite into that, and there's like you're eating crunchy peanut butter. And there's a nut and a piece of strawberry in there. Man, you could just die and go to heaven right then.
The Lord doesn't work in those ways, bro. He doesn't. He doesn't give you those days.
Yeah, that's those when you bite into it and everything around you stops, and this little beam of light comes down. Oh,
100%. See, the thing I didn't really know about was all the weird stuff. All that good weird stuff, like
the weird stuff.
onions,
Yeah, you start getting into chutney
garlic.
land. Start getting into chutney land when we start talking about stuff like that.
Well, yeah, not only that, but there's just straight up onion jam, bro. You can make onion jam.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Think.
said garlic. I gotta research some garlic jam, man, because that sounds.
I'm telling you, bro.
I'm
The weird
serious.
stuff, you can do some. Because yeah, you
Roasted.
can use fruit, but there's no rules in cooking land. This isn't baking land.
Yeah, look, here's a roasted garlic onion jam. There's a balsamic garlic and herb jam. Dude. Okay. I'm gonna have to try this. Caramelized onion and garlic jam. I mean, that's kind of we've made an apple onion chutney before, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'm telling you,
dude.
bro.
Garlic jelly? Hold up. You got a straight up garlic jelly. That's not jelly, it's jam because it's got chunks in it.
Hey, I mean, you could do a simple syrup out of garlic pieces. Pull that garlic out, packed in a little
Yeah.
more sugar. Good to go. Or you can use even another like water, any other vessel.
Yeah. This calls for a quarter cup of garlic cloves peeled, 2 cups of distilled white vinegar, 5 cups of white sugar, and 3 ounces of liquid pectin. So why wouldn't you just see this blend the garlic and the vinegar until smooth, but that's not
Yeah, you
unless
could
you
just
strain that out. Yeah.
you can
I
just
mean it's
strain that
fine.
out.
It's just not jelly.
Yeah, but you can make it jelly. See,
You can make it jelly. I gotta
this
strain
is
that
where
out.
cooking is my favorite because there are
Yep.
no rules other than the rules that are the rules. But there's certain rules that are unbreakable, and there's certain rules that are bendable, and then there's certain rules that just don't exist. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I could take this thing. Well, what if I changed apples into garlic? But what if you did? Oh, it became this other amazing thing.
Here's just something. 15 of the funkiest jam recipes you should try at least once. Pumpkin jam. That's not funky.
No.
Carrot cake jam. Banana jam. See, I'm not gonna
That
say
sounds
that's
Banana Jam sounds like a 1970s band.
yeah, it does. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going to the disco to watch Banana Jam. Sweet chili jam, watermelon jam. So we've tried watermelon jam before. It's actually pretty good. Violet walnut conserve.
Pepper jams, bro. There's
Oh,
bell
dude.
pepper jam. Think about that one for a second.
Yeah. I mean, we've made straight up jalapeno jelly before, like
yeah.
jam.
And you put that stuff on like tacos and stuff. Oh,
Put it
I'm
on
not
fish
into
tacos.
the sweet
Oh
and
gosh.
savory, but for the people who are there, they be doing stuff out there that's more crazy than you think.
We're both Southerners, so I'm sure you've heard of corn cob jam, haven't you?
No, but I do keep corn cobs for the smoker.
Bro, boil those corn cobs. Just boil them, and that pulls all the flavor out of the cobs, and then just make jelly out of it.
Oh. Yeah,
Tomato jam. That's something that we've got going. We're going to be doing some tomato jam before too long.
because if I want to smoke from a fruit that's not the wood's not accessible or the
Yeah.
wood doesn't do anything for you, like oranges, lemons, stuff like that, you just
Right.
You soak your corn cobs in that and then use those to smoke.
See, now we're talking about marmalades, and that's something we haven't even discussed, even off air, is marmalades.
I did look up some stuff beforehand. I came in with the one knowing the thing this time. But marmalades, chutneys, and compotes,
yeah, compotes.
all non-jam jams.
Kiwi fruit chia seed jam.
Chia.
I'd try that. I love kiwi, so
Bro, you really should try that. Just spreading some of that
right on my
chia
head.
right on your head, bro.
What are you trying to say?
No, I'm just
trying to down
saying.
on the ball, man.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to try some chia, see, I know, I know of a place.
Yeah, that's all I need is somebody to go, hey, you need to mow your head.
Chia.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's something though. Growing up, we always had jelly. Like we would have everything. We had apple, we had grape. We weren't rich by any means, but we wasn't so potent. We couldn't just have all kind of different jellies. But
Also, something we completely just stepped over that was in my head on unusual jams and jellies. Herb jellies.
herb jelly. Yes, I was just saw that
That stuff is good too, y'all.
herb jelly. A good basil jelly. Oh man, I've had basil jelly once, and it was really good.
That's why I'm saying, man, cooking doesn't confine you like baking does. If you know the rules of baking, baking doesn't really confine you either. But it
Yeah,
really confines you.
it might not confine you. Well, it confines you a lot more than just regular cooking does, because you can you can do anything with cooking, but when you get to the baking, that you got to have your science brain on for that.
Yeah, there's restrictions. You got to know what you're doing.
You got to basically be a cross between Bill Nye the Science Guy and Alton Brown.
Yeah. But anyone can cook and anyone can make jams and jellies. It is easy.
Yeah, that's something that gets me is that people that go, I can cook, but I'm afraid to try making jams or something like that. It's not hard. It really is not hard.
$1,
Well,
$2 for a candy thermometer. Go get it. Get out
yeah.
there and go. It's
I mean,
easy.
you don't even have need a candy thermometer for jams and jellies.
Nah, you can once you know that boil, you know that boil.
Yeah, I mean it's just
and then you time it.
If you've ever made a pot of stew, you can make jam.
Yeah.
Because it's basically the same bubble up. Like if you're making a pot of chili, for example, when you first start off and it's boiling and there's little bitty bubbles, and then later on it gets a little thicker bubbles and they're slower to pop. That's the same thing as making jelly. You boil you start off boiling, for example, your apple juice. Start off boiling that, and when it starts to thicken and the bubbles become slower to pop and larger bubbles, that's when you know you're getting close.
After you've added your sugar.
After you've added your sugar, yes. Yeah.
Steps are important.
Steps are important.
But we're still kind of on the topic of unusual stuff, and you were talking about making stew. I could turn that stew into a jam. I could
jam?
I can make a stew jam. I can make a brisket jam. You can make meat jams. You can do anything with a jam. Say what?
I said bacon jam.
Yeah. Any meat can be a jam if you jam it.
Yep. I was talking to Mac last night about bacon jam. I said something about having. I'm going to make some bacon jam pretty soon. He's like, bacon or baking? I said bacon. Bacon and jam. I said, bro, trust me. Trust me, it's going to be delicious.
Man, you say it until you get it in your mouth.
Yeah, I've heard it for a long time. I mean, he's a fat boy like us, so he loves food. Man, that boy can eat. He's actually growing into his weight, which is something that I wish I was still young enough to do. Unfortunately, my weight is growing into me.
Hey, I can't say I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're not small men. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not before, but we rather large individuals.
And I used to be the run in my family. I outgrew that stage quick.
He was tired of them calling him skinny runt puny boy something.
Yeah, but then on the other end of the spectrum, you can take chunks of things with a little bit. It's the basic thing, but you're not making a jelly around it, and you don't really let it set. And you got chutneys and compotes.
Yeah, apple onion and see that's when you get into sweet things that go well with savory things. For example, apple onion chutney. We've made that before, and that goes real well with pork chops. You take a good smoked grilled pork chop or something like that, and you throw some of that chutney on top. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, you could do the same thing with your lemons and your fish
Yeah.
and things like that. Your cherries and berries with your red meats.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, you got to know your pairings.
My mind is going crazy right now just thinking about possibilities of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I wanted this to be. Is not only you guys getting ideas from us, but us thinking together and being like, oh, I didn't think about that with that. But you're right. Hold on. But then, but also, but
Yeah. See, we've talked about how we talk about food all the time anyway. We're usually in the middle of a video game or something like that. So our thoughts are cut short sometimes or something like that. But being able to sit here for an hour and literally just talk about food and really explore options and opinions on things, that's amazing. I never thought about doing like a jelly with a like a steak.
oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
something
You
that I
just got to
actually do it
pick
with a
the
steak, but
right.
pork chops for sure.
You got to pick the right thing because, like, if you try to do a pear or an apple with the steak, it might be all right, but it's not going to be as good as putting that fruit with the pork. But if you take a red berry or a dark berry and put it with the red
Oh yeah,
meat, it's same as wine.
his name is what? Yeah, I was gonna say. I see. I could see. Like if you did a brisket and smoked it with apple wood, and then doing like an apple chutney also with that, that would be good.
Oh, bro. So I made that salsa, which is almost in the realm of what we're talking about, but it
Right?
was a peach wood smoked peach salsa. So if I took peach wood smoked peaches and made a jam out of it, and then put
Oh
that
man.
on some pork or some
Oh,
chicken,
dude, dude, I can't. Please do that. Please
that's
do that.
there's so many different ways to not only pair but use it. And you start with a basic thing, this one little fruit and some sugar, and then you put those together and you make this other thing, and then you take a piece of meat and you put those flavors on top of this other flavor that you've taken, because when you make your meat you need to caramelize, and that's searing sugar, which you already done in the jam, and those two come together and you just made heaven inside your whole
Dude,
mouth hole.
my mouth is watering right now, literally watering right now. Just thinking about. Oh gosh,
the
we're having
poss
pork chops tonight too. I might
yeah
have to bring out some of that apple onion chutney.
The possibilities are endless if you know what you're doing. You were talking about cheeses and fruits going together.
Right.
Because, yeah, we've just talked about a bunch of savory stuff, but there's the dessert possibility of this stuff too. And
Oh
you
yeah.
have the dessert possibility in the meats, in the herbs, all of it.
Yeah. Well, it's like cheesecake is a good vehicle for jams and preserves and stuff like that. Raspberry, strawberry. That's already
Bacon
they already
maple.
do stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Maple bacon, chutney, jam, preserves on top of some shit. I, I think the next time, because my brother-in-law makes cheesecakes for holiday season. I think the next time he makes one, uh, hopefully I'll have some bacon jam, and I'm going to try it. I just tell look, man, just make a plain old cheesecake. Don't put anything on it. Don't put anything in it. Just make a plain old cheesecake.
Next time I smoke a brisket, I'll smoke it in cherry, and I'll get some pitted cherries, and I'll put them in the smoker with it. And then I will make you a brisket cherry jam.
Oh, dude. I might drive to Tennessee just to kiss you on the mouth for that.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Once you pick your vessel and if you can think out of the box, I'm gonna use a term here some people might not like, but stoner thinking people call it, where you mix things that shouldn't go together, but you're so stupid in the brain you thought they did.
Yeah.
When you mix two things, it's like, oh, this meat and this thing, this cherry, and then we mix it with jam. Why did we do that? Oh, that's
Well,
why.
that's why. It doesn't. I wouldn't necessarily call it stoner thinking. It could be pregnant brain.
Yeah, that too. That comes
You
out
know,
some good stuff. Just
it's
anytime your
anytime.
brain is not wired right,
Yeah,
which mine is not
not
wired
firing
correctly.
everything.
Yeah. So you think of like I've thought of so many different egg rolls, burgers, pizzas. Like I said, we've got so many topics for
Oh
so
my,
much time. We were
that's and
talking
that's
about discussions and came up with new discussions that we hadn't thought about yet, and it was like, oh wow, I can't wait
and
for
that's
this.
and that's why we really feel like there's going to be longevity to this podcast. Even if we don't have to have hundreds of thousands of views, listens every month. We just like talking about food, and we know that there's people out there that like to talk about food and get involved in conversations. So this is something that's going to be as much kicking around ways to better feed our families as it is, any kind of podcast for you guys to listen to. So you guys will get the ideas, and we'll get the ideas from each other. But when it comes down to it, there are so many topics about food that this could be a 20, 30-year thing that we never fully deep dive into specific topics because there's so many topics to deep dive into.
Yeah.
I'm just excited that we're starting off with something like jams and stuff. Look, I'm a good Southern boy. I've been eating biscuits and jelly for a long time. A
Well, not only
long
that,
time.
but it's so lucky that we thought of January for our stupid little dad joke thing. And then jams go savory, they go sweet, they go herbal, they go anywhere you want to take them. You can make nut jams. You can do so many things with it because all you need is basic things and you put it together.
Right. Yeah. Uh, so let me ask you this: is there a jam that you've ever had that you just didn't like, or one that you heard about that you went, yeah,
The
that's
idea
not
of meat jams and herb jams do not excite me because
oh
I
man,
don't like sweet and savory together too often.
I don't mind it. So meat jams really they like. I'm excited about the bacon jam I'm going to be making. Really excited about it. I'm excited about the prospect of you potentially possibly making some cherry brisket jam.
Yeah, I might pivot my whole thing that I was doing from blackberry mint to that because the only
Cherry
reason I
brisket.
was the only reason I was doing the blackberry mint was to show off that you could put herb in and that there are fruits with more pectin that you don't have to actually use pectin at all in your jam making,
Right.
which we could talk about
Berry.
right now. And then I
Yeah, I was gonna
switched to
say
the other one.
berries. I was gonna say berries are hitting on that topic. Berries are definitely one of the biggest pectin carriers. Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. Those are the ones that literally you just put in the berries, mash them up, put in some sugar, boil it up, and it's good. You've got your jam right there.
Yeah, that was my
Apples are
purpose of picking the blackberry mint because I knew that I could show off just to simple.
Yep.
But I mean, I can do both.
So we get a lot of our stuff from Azure Standard. It's kind of a wholesome, non-GMO, healthy online mart for foods and stuff, and a lot of homesteaders use them for things that they can't grow or don't grow, and that's where we get our pectin from. We usually buy it in a lot of bulk kind of things because we make a lot of jams and jellies through the growing season. And there's one that's called Pomona's pectin. It's a powder, which normal pectin is just a powder you add to whatever you want to thicken. Pomona's has a liquid packet with it too, and you mix those together and then add that. So we're looking forward to trying some of that very soon because we got some of that in our shopping cart.
You're going to be using just a lot of fruits for that, like you were talking about pears earlier being one of your big likes for that. You're going to be trying to
Oh
get
yeah.
some pears going with that.
Well, we want to try different stuff this year too because we've made apple and we've made pear and we've made peach. Man, we had so many peaches this last season. People were just literally giving us bushels of peaches, and we made so much peach stuff. On top of that, we froze a lot of peaches, and one of those packs fell on my toe today. I broke it, but that's another story.
Kiwi,
So yeah, we're gonna
plum, bro. There's so
yeah,
much
we're
you
gonna
could do.
try. I kind of do want to try the kiwi. We were talking about that earlier. I kind of want to try like a kiwi jam. I think that would be
Starfruit, dragon fruit, pomegranate.
pomegranate would be good. I've never tried starfruit or dragon fruit ever.
They're really simple. You need to probably put something with it. It's not a whole lot of flavor in those.
Right. So
But
yeah,
dragon fruit's kind of perfumey, really.
I'd like to try all kind of you can make flour jams and jellies.
Well, I mean, with that website you were talking about, where you get your herbs and all that stuff, it seems like
Yeah.
buying in bulk, you get a chance to try that with with a lot of room for mistakes too.
Yeah. I mean, they're not super cheap, but they're not super expensive either. So you can make a few mistakes and not hurt yourself, not hurt your wallet in the long run. Whereas if you're doing, shorter term things and you have to go to the store and buy a couple of packs of pectin and then come home and you screw something up and it just turns out nasty, then you have to go back to the store and buy some more. It's gonna open up a lot of possibilities to trying new things.
Yeah, I've looked in that site. You're definitely getting what you're paying for. You're
Oh
not
yeah.
being undercharged, but you're not being overcharged either,
Right. It's comparable, at least comparable to grocery stores. And if you look, I mean, like you're gonna go on there and you're gonna go, oh, I can get it at the grocery store for cheaper. Yes, but is it non-GMO and is it this specification? What they're talking about? It's organic and non-GMO and stuff like that, or is it just some store brand cheapo thing? Because yeah, you can get that, but then what are you putting in your body?
Yeah. I mean, we use it for all our stuff. So when I'm making my recipes, when he's making his recipes, that's where we're going for our stuff.
Oh yeah,
Just because it's decent prices and you know what you're getting when you get it.
definitely.
See, and not only that, but you get some. We were talking about blackberry mint. You get some blackberries, some mint, and then you have leftover mint. You can use that for uh something to go on your lamb. Other
Yeah.
things, because you have to, it's bulk buying.
I mean, if nothing else, you can dehydrate it and vacuum seal it, and then use it for teas. And when I say vacuum seal it, you don't have to put it in the bags. You can vacuum seal it in a jar, in a mason jar or something like that,
Ooh, and that's
and
another
use it
great
for
thing about
herbal teas.
jams and jellies and preservatives and marmalades and all these things
Chutneys.
is, yeah, you can take them and can them.
Yes. Long term.
Yeah, we're going to be putting some of these to the test.
We're actually going to be what we plan on doing is throughout the months as we go through doing making the things specifically with jams and jellies, we'll can the stuff, and then we're sending each other some of what we made so that we can try it.
Yeah. And if you've
And,
made it this far in the podcast, thank you very much for watching. I
thank you
mean,
so
we
much.
appreciate you being here, but we could just sit here and talk to each other all day by ourselves. So,
Yeah, and we do sometimes.
it's if you miss one, it's not going to be that bad because we're not really going away. We got too much to talk about.
Yeah,
But
and since we are doing the same topic for the whole month, we'll I'm sure we'll repeat ourselves a few times, but by and far we've got specific topics that we're going to be covering each episode. So you might miss a little bit in one, but trust me, you'll catch up for it in the next one.
yeah, and it's going to be a deep dive, and then at the end of the year, we got plans. We got plans upon plans upon plans.
Big
But
plans, big plans.
my point about you making it this far is I would like to talk to you about some of our future plans that
Oh.
involve these jams. because we will both be making jams and we will show you the recipes. That way you can make the jams too. We're going to be pitting our jams against each other in friendly non-combat, where we're just going to talk about it and talk about why we did what we did and show off our skills in the kitchen, but also giving you a recipe.
Giving you the chance to try it yourself.
Yeah. We're going to be breaking down everything against each other in combat. Not for, greatness or the number one spot, but just to show the differences even more. We're going to be talking about the best stuff that comes from these topics. So the month is going to be us just breaking down every aspect that we can think of this topic. So you might miss a little bit, but you're not going to miss much.
Should we tell them the super long-term goals with January?
Hey, I'm down for anything. If they made it this far, if they made it almost an hour in.
Yeah, if you guys have made it this far, then you get an extra special little tidbit here. And if you get this tidbit and you're listening to this right now, please go over to our Twitter. Link will be in the description. Go over to our Twitter and tell us that you can't wait for 2024.
Yeah.
Because this year, we're going to be doing jams and jellies. Next year during January, we're going to be doing butters, nut butters, herb butters, all kind of different butters that's spreadable and eatable like a jelly is. And then January of 2024 is going to be breads. And at the end of that month, we are going to make a jam and butter sandwich from the jams that we've made and the butters that we've made on the breads that we've made. And the good thing is we'll each have some of the other person's jams and butters that we've made, so we can make the same sandwiches on both sides and test them out. So instead of just putting the jams against each other or the butters against each other, we're putting an entire sandwich head to head.
Not only that,
you guys.
But if you've been keeping track, that jelly will have been 3 years old.
Yes.
That butter will be 2 years old.
And the jelly will be 2 years old, and the butter will be 1 year old. Yeah.
So we will be making a 2-year-old peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, it won't be peanut butter. I can promise you it won't be peanut butter.
Yeah. Well, butter and jam or jelly, but you know what what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited about that, to be honest with you, because we've talked at length. In fact, we've even got a little secret spot in our Gilded server. Which, by the way, if you guys want to be a deeper part of the conversation and talk to us while we're not podcasting or we're not on air, you guys can join right there at that link, or the link that's in the description down below, or that's in the show notes. Join the Gilded server. It's basically the same thing as Discord or TeamSpeak, but a little better. So we'll have calendars in there, all kind of information for you guys to peruse. And we've been talking in there about our long-term plans and exactly what we're going to be doing for 2024. So we really think you guys are going to be excited, and we're extremely excited to do it.
Yeah, not only that, but in that Gilded area, we also give you sneak peeks of stuff before it even comes out. Like if you were there, you know the date that we record this episode, because I tell you. Because I'm so excited, I almost pee my pants, and then I just type it out and I pee a little bit, and you know.
We'll also share pictures of our cooking processes, some of the finished products, links to special things that are coming up, and all kind of good stuff. So make sure you join us in that community. Follow us on our socials. Get all the inside information and behind the scenes footage that you possibly can, and new things coming for that as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good January this year. Like I said, go ahead and scratch out all your months in your calendar, because we're going to be giving you new ones every month.
Pull your calendar up on your phone, put some white out on it, and just write January over where it's supposed to say January. And then next month you can scrape that off and do it again for February, which is going to be Fooduary.
Oh, Fooduary, where we discuss the foods that we love this year. It's going to be a good one.
I got a feeling we're going to be talking about jams there too, because after this month, in the making of the jams we're going to be making, bro, how can we not talk about jams?
It's gonna be some egg jam going on, some ham jam.
Ham jam sandwich.
It's gonna be all these different breakfast jams, all these different smoked jams.
Gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so stoked about this.
Yeah, this is gonna
We
be
hope you guys
fun.
are as stoked as we are about it too.
There's no way
We
you
really
are.
no. I really do hope that you guys get excited enough by hearing some of these recipes to go, what? That sounds oddly delicious. I gotta try that. And then you get the recipe and you try it and then you let us know how it was, because that's a big part of what we're doing, is we want to open you guys up to new possibilities, as well as opening each other up to new possibilities for different foods.
Yeah, I want to be open up to new possibilities with your foods too. So when we need your
Yeah.
recipes, please send them in. If you don't know a recipe, go make one and send
Make
that
one
in.
up.
Maybe it tastes like schnitzel.
Maybe.
Who knows? We're gonna try it and then we're gonna spit it out on this camera and go,
It
that
could
tastes
taste
like
like
schnitzel.
it could taste like pork
Yeah,
or
yeah.
cucumber.
There's a lot of
Fork it.
things that
I
could
don't
taste
care.
like. If it tastes like cucumber, I
We'll
might
eat
like
it.
it.
Well,
If it tastes like donut, I am in.
I am definitely in for donuts. Oh my gosh. These little code words you guys will start to understand as time goes on. Some of you that already know us can already read through the lines and know what we're saying, but we're trying to be as PG as possible, but we still have a little bit of an adult overtone.
Just like the word jam.
Damn it.
It's PG, but it has a little
Damn it.
adult.
There, that's what that one is. It's jam. Why did we not think of that?
I
We were
don't
looking for a
know,
D
but
word.
yeah, we got it now. Jam.
I mean, we were looking for a D word, and when jam was staring us in the face this whole time.
There we go,
Sausage of a biscuit, bro.
bro. But don't be afraid of
All right.
jam. I mean,
No.
it's so easy, and you can, as you've heard us talk about, you could do anything with it.
Yeah, don't be afraid to experiment either. I mean, you never know what you're going to discover that somebody else might not have already discovered. And then there's a whole new possibility for the food that you eat.
I'm not saying be disgusting, but maybe you find some fried bologna cheese whiz jam that's amazing.
All right, let's not go overboard. I do like both of those things, but I don't think that would make a good jam.
No, I don't think it would either. But if you're willing to
That
try
sounds
it
gross.
and it comes
Hey,
out, it comes out.
to
Who
each
cares?
their own.
Yeah.
To each their. I'll
Put
try
that on your ketchup ramen noodles and go to town.
Gross, man.
There's some people out there, I don't
How do we
know.
end up? How do we end up ending the episode like this, man? What's going on with this nastiness here? Blech.
Hey, I'm just saying,
Forever.
when it comes to cooking, do what you want, and if you like the way it tastes, then you win immediately.
You never, like I said, you never know what you're gonna invent, and then that could be your signature dish that everybody goes, "Oh my gosh, I ate the awesomest thing at Dick's house this weekend. I don't know what it was. It was some weird stuff all mixed together, but man, that schnitzel was delicious."
Or maybe you make something that you love so much, you think it's the best tasting thing ever, and everyone thinks it tastes like schnitzel. And they're like, I was at Mike's house and I vomited everywhere because of the schnitzel he fed me. He loved it. He ate 3 plates of it. I couldn't eat a bite. But as long as you love it, who cares about everyone else?
That's right. It doesn't matter. Your family, your friends, none of them could like it. It could just be you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Make it, eat it. It's all good. I've been experimenting with food since I was a kid, like all the way back to syrup on scrambled eggs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's some people who put ketchup on macaroni and cheese and thought that was delicious, and they kept doing it. I'm not one of those people, but there's people out there like that.
Like ranch with pizza, man.
I don't even like ranch on the things that people like ranch on. Like,
I don't mind ranch. I just don't. I don't.
I like
I don't want it on my
ranch.
pizza.
But I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I want to dip everything in ranch.
No.
I want
And I
to
don't
dip
drown
salad in ranch, and that's it.
I don't drown my salad. It's not like a bowl of ranch with a few pieces of lettuce in it or something like that. I am very mild on my dressing. I'm very heavy on my jam, but I'm very mild on my salad dressing.
Got that heavy jam.
I'm a heavy jam man. Know what I'm saying?
Bro, speaking of heavy jams, I reached out to a buddy of mine, Jay Mitch, and he has a friend who does music, which you guys heard in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
That jam is heavy.
It is heavy jam.
Jon
like
Cabral. That man went above and beyond what I asked for.
Yeah, he did. Thank you so much for that. That's some amazing stuff.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling that people will show up just to listen to the intro music.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
There's we've actually got some other things in the works. We've got an announcer that's not us that will be walking us in and out of the podcast, trying to be as professional as possible and not just do everything ourselves in janky manners. We want this to be something big that will grow over time. So stay tuned because we got some big things. We got some big plans.
It's gonna be a long one. I'm Dick.
And I'm Mike. We see you guys next time on the Flavor Savors.
Bye.